Most people believe they know what love looks like in a dog. A wagging tail at the front door, excited paws racing across the room, eyes that light up the moment you come home. It's easy to call that loyalty, but sometimes something much deeper is happening. Some dogs don't simply love the people who care for them. They quietly build their entire emotional world around one person. That connection isn't created by treats, commands, or years spent under the same roof. It's something instinctive, a bond so deeply rooted that your dog begins to see you as the safest place they know. Scientists often describe this as imprinting, a powerful attachment where one individual becomes the dog's emotional anchor. Not every dog forms this bond in exactly the same way, and not every relationship reaches this depth. But when it happens, it leaves behind subtle clues that most owners overlook every single day. A glance across the room, a quiet sigh before falling asleep. The way they search for you without realizing they're doing it. These aren't random habits. They're tiny conversations your dog has been having with you all along. And once you understand what they mean, you'll never look at your companion quite the same way again. Sleeping near you. Choosing safety over comfort. If your dog chooses to sleep close to you every night, it may seem like they're simply looking for warmth or a comfortable place to settle. Comfort certainly matters, but for dogs, sleep has always carried a deeper meaning. Long before they shared our homes, their ancestors survived by sleeping beside the members of their pack. During sleep, awareness fades, reactions slow, and vulnerability reaches its highest point. Choosing where to rest wasn't simply about comfort. It was about deciding who could be trusted with your life. That instinct never completely disappeared. When your dog curls up beside your bed, rests against your feet, or quietly settles outside your bedroom door, they're making a decision that goes far beyond convenience. Your heartbeat becomes familiar. Your scent becomes reassuring. Your presence tells their nervous system that someone is keeping watch. Over months and years, sleeping near you becomes more than a nightly habit. It becomes a silent ritual of trust. Every peaceful night spent beside you gently reinforces the same message. I am safe here. Becoming like you, emotional mirroring. Have you ever noticed your dog slowly becoming more like you? Not physically, of course. Emotionally. Some dogs seem to adopt the rhythm of the people they love. A calm household often creates a calmer dog. A stressful environment can create one that's constantly alert. This isn't imitation in the way humans think of copying behavior. It's something far more subtle. Dogs spend an extraordinary amount of time studying us. They notice changes in our breathing before we notice them ourselves. They recognize differences in our footsteps, our posture, and the tiny shifts in our voice that often happen long before words reveal how we're feeling. Little by little, they begin adjusting themselves to stay emotionally connected. They slow down when you're quiet. They become playful when your energy rises. Sometimes they even share your anxieties without understanding their source. A deeply bonded dog isn't just living beside you. They're constantly tuning themselves to the emotional frequency of your life. And perhaps that's why so many owners eventually say, "My dog understands me," because in many ways they really do. Listening to you. Trust more than obedience. People often assume that the dog who listens best is simply the one who has received the most training. But trust and obedience are not always the same thing. Many dogs hear commands from several people every day. Yet when uncertainty appears, they instinctively look toward one particular person before deciding what to do. Why? Because over countless small moments, they've learned whose voice consistently brings clarity, whose body language remains predictable, whose decisions help them feel secure. Dogs don't think about leadership the way humans often imagine it. To them, a reliable guide isn't someone who demands control. It's someone whose presence reduces uncertainty, someone who remains steady when the world feels confusing. When your dog responds to you first, even when others are speaking, it often reflects something much deeper than training. It reflects confidence. They've learned that following your signals usually leads them somewhere safe. If you're beginning to recognize your own dog in these quiet behaviors, you're certainly not alone. Every dog tells a different story, and each bond grows in its own unique way. If you enjoy discovering the hidden psychology behind these everyday moments, consider subscribing to Canine Fellow. There's always another quiet mystery waiting to be uncovered. Your scent, carrying home wherever they go. Many owners return home to discover their dog curled up on yesterday's shirt, resting beside a pair of worn shoes, or sleeping against a blanket that still carries their scent. It can seem strange, sometimes even a little funny, but from your dog's perspective, it makes perfect sense. Dogs experience the world primarily through smell. Your scent isn't simply something they recognize. It's a living memory. It carries familiarity, predictability, belonging. When you're away, surrounding themselves with your scent helps regulate their emotions. It lowers uncertainty. It eases loneliness. It quietly reminds them that although you aren't visible, you're still part of their world. To your dog, your scent isn't just something you leave behind. It's one of the ways home continues to exist even while you're gone. Following you without needing anything, presence over dependency. Some dogs develop a habit that owners rarely question. They simply follow, from the kitchen to the living room, from the hallway to the garden. Sometimes they don't ask for food. They don't want to walk. They don't even expect attention. They simply choose to be where you are. It's easy to mistake this for dependence. But in many deeply bonded dogs, it's something quieter. Presence itself becomes rewarding. Much like close friends who don't always need to talk, your dog often finds comfort simply sharing the same space. Even if they're sleeping while you work, even if they're lying quietly across the room, their instinct keeps bringing them back to the person who makes the environment feel complete. Sometimes the greatest expression of attachment isn't excitement. It's peaceful companionship. Sensing your emotions before you say a word. Long before tears appear, long before your voice begins to shake, your dog may already know something has changed. Perhaps it's the slower way you walk into the room, the tension in your shoulders, the pause before you speak. Dogs notice details that most humans overlook. They read facial expressions, body language, changes in breathing, even subtle shifts in body chemistry caused by stress hormones. When they quietly rest their head on your lap during difficult moments, they aren't following a command. They're responding to something they have learned about you through years of observation. Your emotional world has become important because you have become important. Comforting you isn't a trick. It's part of the relationship you've built together. If your dog has ever comforted you before anyone else realized something was wrong, we'd love to hear about it. Share your story in the comments. Every experience reminds us that these remarkable relationships are far more profound than many people realize. Checking in, you are their safe point. Watch a confident dog exploring somewhere unfamiliar. They sniff, they investigate, they wander, but every so often they stop. They look back. Sometimes it's only for a second. Sometimes they return to your side before heading off again. That simple glance carries remarkable meaning. Wild canids rely on trusted members of their group as reference points. Your dog does something very similar. By checking your location, your posture, or your expression, they're quietly asking one question. Are we still okay? When the answer is yes, exploration continues. Your presence becomes their compass. Not because they're afraid of the world, but because they've learned they don't have to face it alone. A bond that was chosen. If your dog shows even a few of these quiet behaviors, your relationship may already be far deeper than you ever imagined. Not because you demanded affection, not because you trained perfect obedience, but because somewhere along the journey, your dog made a decision that only they could make. They chose you. Perhaps that's what makes this connection so extraordinary. The strongest bonds are rarely loud. They don't ask to be noticed. They reveal themselves in silent glances, peaceful naps, familiar footsteps, and quiet moments shared without expectation. And maybe that's the greatest gift a dog can offer. Not perfect obedience, not endless excitement, just the quiet certainty that, in their eyes, you've become home. If you'd like to continue discovering the hidden emotional world of dogs, one quiet moment at a time, you're always welcome here at Canine Fellow. Like, subscribe, and share your own story below. We'd love to hear about the dog who chose you.